Hello and welcome, my name is Nilaus. This is the base tour of my final factory. The final factory base is done now, and I'm going to do this episode, the very last one in this monumental series, in order to show you how awesome this base is. Now, let me start by giving you some stats about this base, and I conveniently click up here and look at the numbers. It is 2,999 rockets, or is it? Because what's that on this side of the screen? It is... Come on, mark it up to 3,000. You can do it. You can do it. There we go. 3,000 rockets is one KPI, and they keep launching here. The reason why this tally is a bit ahead because it also counts the ones where it has inserted. Never mind that. And science-wise, because that is our benchmark, it's running very stable. This is on a 1 hour overview, running at 3,000 science per minute. So that is also a very nice base. This base has been operating for 215 hours, so those are some of the KPIs. 3,000 rockets, 3,000 science per minute, and 215 hours of Factorio playing. That amounted to 197 episodes here on my channel. So that is some base, and that's where the whole thing comes in. How do I do this justice in a short 20-minute video? Something that's been spending 200 hours building, but I'm going to give it my best shot. First, I would of course like to say, let's walk away from all these rocket launches. They're nice and all, but let's just walk a bit away from this, and let's zoom out to the tape. So the first thing I should say is this series has come about because I wanted to make a Megabase vanilla, completely vanilla, where I made one episode for each of the supporters of the channel, supporters on Patreon primarily, but also on YouTube membership. And my objective was that I wanted to build a base that was 10 science for each, 10 science per minute for each supporter of the channel. And I have at the current moment about 300 supporters on the channel. Thank you very much. Without you, I could not have made YouTubing my living. So thank you very much. It means a great deal to me. But that was sort of my challenge. Can I reach a base that runs safely and soundly at 3,000 science per minute before I reach 300 episodes, one for each? And that's what I have proven now, that I can do this, and that is the reason why I'm also ending this series at this point. I have achieved the goal I set at the beginning of the series, so now it's also time for us to start new challenges. But in order for that, let me also say that since this is a base tour, I hope it'll be very interesting for a wider audience than my actual daily playthroughs. So if you haven't watched all of these, but maybe checked out the channel and looked at an episode 174 and like, I don't know, really know, check out this video, share it, like it. That means it will be more visible to anyone else, which I appreciate because it's been a lot of effort that's put into it. Not a lot of work, a lot of effort. So let's start diving in about how this base operates. It is split into different parts. This is affectionately called my starter base. Then it is built into, the starter base is producing, we'll go into more detail, but first a high level. The starter base here is producing the rocket parts and the satellites in order to support the 3,000 science per minute. It is also producing all the other crap that I need. This part down here is very strange, but really, really awesome. It produces the science packs. You can see science packs here. Blue science packs, red, green, yellow, and purple. Right, so that's being produced here, while of course the rocket science is being produced here. Then we have over here, we have the power plants. Let's have a look at the power consumption. Each of these is maybe I should turn away the fogginess or the smoke. I just love looking at the smoke. So each of this is 8 reactors. It works, it's very nice, it's crisp, and it produces 1120 or 40, 1100 and a bit megawatts. Well, and I have 18 of these power plants supported by these canals here. They have not been dug out, but they have been sort of a big lake. You can see the outline of the lake that I have sort of dammed in to make this. Right, so the one design part that I did not mention, unfortunately, should have mentioned it earlier, because it's pretty damn unique. It is, ta-da, every damn thing in this base, everything, without exception, is aligned towards the substation grid. There is no exceptions anywhere. I dare you to find any. And you can see here, this means that a lot of my designs have to be adjusted. I could not use sort of the normal cookie cutter designs because I have decided that I want this. So you can see here, substation grid. It is incredibly gratifying to look at this. There is no wire spaghetti in this base. No wire spaghetti at all. And robots. Robot spaghetti though. That's what we have. Right, so that means that even things like this have been forced into a grid based, like the refineries, yeah. So everything is pretty much organized around the same pattern. The pattern being the maximum number, that's 12 beacons around one either assembler or refined chemical plant, and that's basically the theme everywhere. So you can see here, here's some slight changes here because I'm working on these two. So everything is just building like this, right? So but it's all surrounded by a monstrous amount of roboports because yeah, I do have 50,000 roboports in the starter base active, logistics pod, and also another 10,000 construction bots. And sometimes all of these are busy. In total, I have about 180,000 robots, logistics bots active because I also have in each of these grids. But let's start with this starter base here. This starter base is fed by trains coming in here. You can see here, these are the stations. I have a steel station, and iron station. Oh, it's beautiful. They're just trickling in here. This is looking absolutely phenomenal. The way I'm controlling this is I have a wire set up here. Now these switch to red. The reason why they switch to red is because I want to force them. I want to say that when the total amount in my logistic storage, let's look at the logistic storage, and that's the one, yeah, logistic storage here. For example, with iron, once it hits below 500,000, it opens these signals and trains that are waiting out here will then be able to get in. And the same here, stone, steel, coal, copper, iron, they are working exactly the same, which means at some point you will get to see this, where all 50,000 robots will probably, no, not even, it's only 30,000 robots being active, but they are just really busy emptying into the storage location from where it will be stored, moved to the rest of the base. Here it goes in. I've tried to optimize it in the sense that I wanted the green circuits that use the most iron and copper to be relatively close, and then also the red side is also using quite a bit of copper is also nearby, and then having the blue, which will demand a lot of the green coming in down here. So all of this is just building into rocket parts, for example. It's building into here, the low density structures, and where's the last bit? The last bit is over here, the rocket fuel. So you can see this pattern is exactly the same everywhere, and it's operated by robots. I could have made it more robot optimized, but remember this used to be, I used to have a bus running up here, and now that has been transitioned away in order to make it all robotoid. And I prefer to have it like really segmented like this. So the oil comes in here and flows basically like here, it goes to plastic or to solid fuel and it's rocket fuel. And then you move the rocket fuel, which is low or high density, over here. And also producing quite a few of these. Well, that's actually worth looking at. If I can just look at all time graph, I'm sure this one's also interesting for some in some cases. Let me see, almost 8 million of these. Okay, that's nice. What I wanted to see was the amount of here, 54,000 speed modules. That I think is a lot. So a lot of these things are quite nice numbers. They are certainly not the biggest you will see in any base, but it's the biggest you will see in any of my bases, because I want to start over once I reach this point of saturation. No point doing that. So you can see here in this base, because we also have the science location, let's just zoom in. This works exactly the same as all the other things. And I have like the holding position for all the science that comes in. it goes up here, it comes in by trains, and this is the next part. Where does the trains come from? And this is where you will see something that is very different in this base than a lot of other megabases. I have dedicated train lines. So even though there's, on this one, it's only running red science and it's going to be idle almost all the time, then I still have a dedicated line here. And they're going down here, each one, and all the way down here to the purple one. Yeah, because that's just how I believe in it. Because I do not want this to be, I do not want it to be constrained by the train network. There are two things I've seen a lot in comments over the last 200 episodes that I just want to address here. And that is one of the things that said, why do you do this thing, right? For example, here's an iron deposit. It has an iron place. It goes into a box, a city block that only produces iron. But this iron, it's not going a lot of places. It goes out and it can go a wee bit, into batteries. But it can also, majority will go into green circuits. Oh man, science circuits, they just get mixed up all the time. So the idea here is, and if I just allow this to be shown, then I can say, all right, you would like to get some iron. Then let's go up here, go back, and the iron train will then, oh man, you would think this was actually orchestrated, but it's just active so often or so much that it is very easy to find good cases. And that means this one is fulfilling it, and we just hurry up and start the next one so it doesn't make a gap. And this will enable us to make the green circuits. Green circuits are, where are you? Where art thou? They are here, green circuits. Now they're coming in. Let's see how much we have. We have 340,000 in storage. So this one will just fill up as immediately as it can. And as you can probably see here, this is not the normal speed. I'm running at pretty much half speed. FPS, UPS has dropping, but it is a pretty big base. So you can see here, this one is just filling up. It's at 20,000. It fills up to 46,000, and then it figures out which one of these two locations it can go to. It can either go to red circuits or to speed modules. Both of them are closed because they are now saturated at an amount of, I think it's 100,000. So when it's above 100,000, then it doesn't do anything. So you have these blocks here that produce one thing. This means that all these train networks are completely isolated from each other. This network here, this line, vertical line, is for fuel, and that will always stop for the big trains. Now, the benefit of having it like this, well, the disadvantage is that I have to manage each of the locations independently. So this one might run out while something else might have plenty of available ore. That is an issue, yes. But the upside is that, or the alternative of doing it this way, is to have some very big train networks. Sorry, it was that one I wanted to take out. Very big train lines. I've seen 8 lanes wide, and what happens when you have an 8-lane wide train network is that they will, whenever they cross the lanes, they are going to have to cross the 4 other lanes, and that will invariably cause congestion in the network. This way, there is no congestion at all in the train network. Never ever. It does take a lot of space. It does mean a lot of lines, but there is absolutely no congestion. And that is something that can usually become a bottleneck in megabases. And when it becomes a bottleneck, there is no way to fix it. You cannot taking a 4-lane train network and making it into an 8-lane train network is an insane amount of work. And it doesn't give you double the capacity. It gives you, I don't know, I would say plus 20, plus 40% capacity, no more than that. So that is one of the big reasons. The other thing that I'm seeing is, okay, why are you not just getting all the iron into big locations and then bring it in? This is what I'm doing up here, and it makes sense in the small starter base, but it does not make sense for all of this, because you can see, or what we did see here is this part. Imagine having 4 times as high throughput here. It would just be an absolute insane amount of robots that fly back and forth. And the way that they are working, you can see here, this is exactly the issue. They're all routing to this one. You can see how many are charging to get to this one, even though it's full. And then it reroutes into the next one, which is pretty random which one it chooses. It does not choose the next one, or it does not choose the closest one, then it would fill up here. It chooses the next one in the sequence it was constructed in, which is an absolute disaster. And this is why This is why you cannot rely on roboports for this. You can see it, I mean, it's nice that it all flows in, but look how many robots are flying into this location. It's delivering 11,000 additional to this location. This is insane, right? And then it goes down to this location. Oh no, it can't do that. And then it goes, I mean, it is, I'm not going to say poor optimization of the robot because that's pretty impressive, but it would be nice if they could choose the closest one instead of choosing the next one in their construction sequence, because that is just routing things back and forth here. I think I'm also maybe using a few more robots than the base is designed to do, so we're going to let that slide. But what I can do in this case, and this is what I'm doing here, you can see here, for the steel that just came in, I'm now keeping a reserve up here of steel locations, just lots of steel trains coming in, they're going out. This train network is technically not segregated, but it actually pretty much is, because the steel goes out here, it will not interject with the other parts, it'll go out here into this massive steel and this massive steel. Likewise, the copper is the next one. The copper will go here and go into that one. Oh, that's the iron actually. So the copper will actually cross, but it's so little crossing they do in these rather beautiful, strange Christmas crosses that I've made. Now let's look at the size and complexity of these locations out here. They are all built upon a modular network. If we look at it like this, I believe. This one, 80 of these. And then I can simply just place it. Let's see if it works. Where is it? Where art thou? There. Okay, yeah, so you can see here it fits perfectly. And then the third one is here, also fits perfectly. So that means I built a design and then I stamp it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then put a station here that can absorb it, and then it works. This is only delivering half of the steel I need, so I'm going to build another one up here. It works really well, and it means that the trains are transporting steel instead of copper ore. Very useful, and I think this is how I would like to do it generally moving forward. When you get up to the higher mining productivity combined with very large bases, then the argument about, oh, but when you're running out, then you're going to have to rebuild the base. I'm sorry, I'm not going to run out in 100 hours from this one, so I don't care. This one, likewise, if I'm not going to be running out, oh, let's see who's being attacked. Okay, that was nothing. So that's what we have. We have steel, copper, iron up here. It's exactly the same design, same train station, same design here, and it's just having the robots pick things up from here. See, 37, that's only 2 million, and nothing really. Oil, very big oil deposit, also being pumped in, separate lines going in here, just filling it up as fast as it possibly can. And let's see how fast this one fills up. Please fill up. Yep, it fills up to 200,000. And you can see how easy it gets filled up. And off we go. Next one. And I just keep this storage here. This one, it stacks up to about 400,000 should be the peak for each of them. And it opens with 200. And coal is even less interesting. So what this is the core of the base. If we look at it, the starter base or main base that produces rocket parts and launches rockets. We have all this space down here, the science base, which is very low train density. Some power production here, about 20 gigawatts of power, plus something up here. The one thing that I haven't mentioned is the expansion, which I am honestly quite proud of. You can see if you look at this part, there is a line down here. This is the way I expand my network. Let's actually try and see if I can do it from up here, because I have not been out here ever in this space. What I do is I have two designs here. They work like this. You can see I cannot build it further out because then I get outside the range. So this is when being aligned towards the substation grid. This is as far out as I can make it. Then I can just stamp it down here. Then because this is, you can see they're already flying out and building it. It is a completely separate network shifted over here, which means that some things will probably start picking up here, maybe. Well, not much. They must be somewhere else. And okay, yeah, there's some things that are being picked up. They're actually already en route. But that's a separate network with separate logistics and construction bots for repairs, obviously. And that goes out here. So once this is built and that one, the radars gets put in, I can put in the next one. And therefore I can expand it, making it relatively safe as I expand out here. And then I can, every third one of these will replace it with this one, which is an artillery like this, which will then put a new artillery in here, which is the way that I'm controlling the expansion out here. So by just expanding, and then I suddenly get the artillery out to a new area, and that gets completely decimated, and that's just working absolutely phenomenal. So that's definitely how I'm going to be expanding into enemy territory in the future. That's for sure. So this is the overview of the base. If you like this, then let me just encourage you to hit that like button, throw some comments if there's something you find strange, odd, want some explanation for. You can also check out the Discord where there will be lots of conversation. I would also encourage you to share it if you find this interesting somewhere else. For someone else, then please share it, because it's been a lot of effort put into this base, and I think that I'm really proud of it. Let's be perfectly honest. I'm really proud of what this base can do. So I think this is also worth for maybe other people to get inspired. Usually I am only sharing save games with my supporters, the Patreon supporters of the channel. But at the end of a series, I'll be sharing a save game of this. I'll also sharing a Google map of this, so that you can browse around yourself on the base, have a look at it from a web browser, and and then encourage you to drop by the Discord for discussions and all that stuff about this. So let me thank all the supporters, because they are the ones who made this all possible, and they're the ones who have been supporting me in this endeavor. So thank you very much. This is absolutely phenomenal, and now it's time for me to start new challenges. The next challenge will be in 0.17, will be a really awesome base, I hope, on how to build in 0.17 with the new science and all the new things that's coming up. So with that, I think I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much for your support, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like and share and all that stuff. And then I'll be seeing you in Discord or on YouTube for more Factorio in the future. Thank you very much. Take care.